tuning in. Whew. Past few streams been a little rough, but it should be more okay now because, small update, yesterday, we just installed a new internet modem, and so hopefully that means my internet connectivity should remain more stable than it has been, like, for a while now. Like, it's been a consistent issue, y'all understand, but hopefully at least some of that will be mitigated now. Hooray! I know I'm kind of in the mood to just, like, jump right in to tonight's AI dungeon, because last Tuesday, like, that was a mean cliffhanger we got left on. Unintentional, of course, but, you know. Fingers crossed! Also, as far as news goes for the future, I know I feel compelled to address one matter. Like, I know a little while ago I mentioned I was gonna be collabing with someone, but they live somewhere in the country where it is unbearably hot right now and they can't risk any damage to their computers. So that's gonna be put on hold. So yeah, but probably the biggest news of note. So it's July 1st, as of this stream. 3 days. Holy shit. Holy shit, it's gonna be 3 days until my birthday. It's... wow. And I've been brainstorming maybe what to do for the occasion, like what kind of stream I'd like to do. I have a few ideas. I'm not sure which one I'm totally sold on yet, but I suppose there's the possibility that, you know, it might end up being my... as of yet, like, maybe it'll be the plan to be the longest stream I'm gonna be doing? I don't know yet. I don't know. It's such little time to prepare. Yeah, like, it's supposed to be like a relatively big occasion, but I've always been a Froggy of simple desires, simple, like, low-key arrangements, like, expectations, that's a better way to put it. So, like, I honestly don't... How am I wanting to phrase this? Like... I don't know, like, I'm gonna do the best I can to, you know, maybe, like, make it a special occasion, like a special stream, but, you know, it's not gonna be anything too extravagant, I would wager. But maybe that's just my modesty talking. I don't know. I'm simple. I'm Frog. Um, but I suppose, I guess it would be like a fine time to say, like, obviously, like, subs and whatnot and bits, like, they're always appreciated in any amount. But, like, if anybody cares to donate to me directly to support me and my streams and, help me slowly inch my way to, like, possibly getting better equipment and thus making better streams, I do have a Ko-fi link, right below my VOD link. Like, right below the Twitch screen there. You can find it. It's right there. It's somewhere in there. You can find it. I trust you. I trust you, Lily Pals. You're smart. Alright. I think with all that out of the way, I think we can finally get started on where we left off in AI Dungeon. Quick recap. What we were up to last stream. So, I made it my mission, as, like, the penultimate, day of June, and thus of Pride Month. I was trying to, play AI Dungeon, like, somewhat normally, like, you know, trying to downplay as much chaos as possible by playing, like, one of the pre-made, worlds, particularly the world of Gorgon, a land of the undead, and our mission is simply, or was simply, to, find and, seduce a woman who, in this case, it played out in such a way, like, we are gonna try to seduce and smooch a goddess of war. As far as the story itself, we're playing Julia, who is a vampire commoner. She has a daughter, and she had a husband named Derek, who we basically murdered, after like an undead raid in our village occurred. Like, we just left him for dead. And we also met up with a giant, black Goliath creature named Leech. And Leech was basically, sent to us to find us, on behalf of his goddess, Lena, the goddess of war. And yeah, like, we traveled a bit through the world, until eventually we came across, her domain, and now we're there, and now we're meeting Lena, and, you know, our final goal, as I could pull up a quest log here, get a kiss from Lena, goddess of war. Like, at this point, it's not even, like, you know, be betrothed or, like, get in a relationship with Lena. It's just one smooch, and I'll be a happy frog. I'll be a gay frog. And so, like, we left off... I'll just read, like, from the top here? Just a little bit. Oop. She giggles, and you smile at her. The king has commanded me to escort you to your new home, she says. I am sorry, but I must obey. You say, my lovely lady, what is a king to a goddess like you? A waggle of your finger and his entire rule would collapse. Perhaps, she smiles. The goddess turns to leave, and you struggle not to lose your nerve. True. It appears you two get along fair enough, says Leech. I haven't seen her so quickly fawn over anyone in my service to her. I'm sure my vampirism plays a small part, you say. Who's that lady? Your daughter asks. Indeed, what is her name? You ask Leech. My memory isn't what it used to be, he says. I believe her name is Lena. We wait for Lena to return. The hours go by and you begin to feel anxious. I wouldn't wonder about something so very important being forgotten, says Leech. And here, we pick back up. It looks like Leech has more to say, so let's try to egg on a little more context. And I have no idea what her name is. That isn't the point. You continue waiting for a better part of the day and begin to feel hungry again. Your stomach begins to growl. I mean, it is true that Leech is not the most intelligent bloke in our journey, but he does seem to be loyal and dedicated. But on the other hand, this like directly contradicts what he just said, so nope. I've forgotten so many things in the years I've been here. I wouldn't blame you if you forgot too. You feel a great loss in your heart at the very idea of forgetting. That's really poignant, right off the bat. I mean, vampires being undead and all, like, they're functionally immortal. And, well, who knows how a vampire's brain is wired to work as opposed to a human being. I know for a fact, because I did, like, research a long time ago, like, how much information can a human brain hold? And it totals out to, I think, like, 2 or 3 petabytes of information, which, to put that in perspective, is like over 1,000 terabytes. Like 1,000 or so, I think. I don't remember the exact math, but it's a lot. It's a lot of information. But of course, like, not all of that information is important, and so a lot of it is just kind of stashed away in the subconscious. We have no idea how a vampire's brain works, though, because vampires don't exist. I mean, I assume. I assume. Let's play into that a little bit. Gonna go with story. You shake the feeling away soon enough. I wouldn't expect such situations to occur. Vampire minds are stronger than humans. You say? If I may ask, what are we doing here? Asks your daughter, whose eyes are fixed on the castle. You know, our daughter has been fairly quiet throughout this entire journey, so... It's kind of a wonder that she's asking this now. escaping the livelihood of village folks. Hopefully. It also means you would get a new or a second mama. Oh yeah, world events. We have world events turned on. Yada yada yada, none of this is really important. The Lich King has ordered a massive undead invasion on the Kingdom of Lightworld. Undead armies and skeletal soldiers have been seen marching up to the walls of Harkonnen. They have also been seen trying to break through the walls of Drakador, but their lack of teamwork has them consistently failing. Me? Says your daughter. No way! I want to stay here! Too bad, you reply. You look at the castle one more time and turn away in disgust. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. You stand with your daughter and your new bride. Children surround the three of you, a ring of children, and there's forms. Did we just fast forward to the wedding day? Yeah, I think we just like fast forwarded to the wedding day. I'm gonna change this up a little bit. Your daughter and Leech. Out from the adjacent halls of the throne room, children with war paint and dulled weapons race out and surround you. Lena steps, or Lena returns from, how to describe it, returns shortly after, I'll just say that. Smiling at you. That sure is one way to get a smooch, yeah! Yeah. I'm curious to see what the narrator is gonna make from this. Good, you're here, she smiles. Should we enter? Asks your daughter. Yes, says Lena, extending a hand to help you up. No, No, we were here for a while. She carries a large pack on her back, which you notice is some fancy new weapons and a strange silver mask. Hello, she smiles. Even if I said, like, I wanted to jump right in and, like, get right into the smooch, like, I do at least feel like I want to, or I want to feel like I've earned it, you know? Also, how's the frame rate and connection looking? It says I have about, like, 1,400 dropped frames so far, but from my end it looks like it's holding up pretty alright. My. What have I... or... what? Occasion have I been pulled into? The occasion of a new home for you and your daughter, she says. Lena hands you the pack, looking at your face. Well? Holding up alright here too? Nice! Nice, nice, nice. Alright. I mean, I'm certainly glad that Lena seems to be of like mind. That we're gonna be living with her now. They are my work. Please, look. The pack is open-faced. A large silver shield sits up on the top of the pack, an intricate dragon pattern extending from the center of the shield's face. I don't suppose this is... What's the word? This is an incentive for a first date. Lena shrugs, smiling. I suppose not, she says. Well, then you really should see the rest of it. Lena pulls a curved sword from the pack, handing it to you. Come on, narrator. You can give me better than that. Lena stares at you blankly. I'm sorry, what did you say? She asks. Just a joke, you say, smiling. Was it, though? Man, what do I glean from this? What do? She laughs. You're too funny. Anyway, I've done a lot of work on the pack. It's very durable, but it has the capacity to carry heavier loads. No. Here. I'm gonna undo, and I'm gonna rephrase. Early wedding gift. I thought about saying that the first time, but I didn't want to, like, too strong. Alright. Alright. The mask is laid against your chest. I was hoping you would wear it, says Lena. It looks good on you. We should go to dinner. My brother will be here soon. Happily wear the silver mask. You had a nice time with Lena. You gained 7 points. Nice! It's a beautiful gift, you say. Thank you, she says, putting the mask in your pack. Lena takes you to a civilized restaurant for dinner, serving duck and wine. As befitting the goddess of war. Well... Maybe she's less like Ares and more like Athena. Hell yeah! I would totally date an analog of Athena. Also, I like how, like, the myriad of warrior children were just completely forgotten. Completely ignored. One thing I will change, though. Takes you to the dining hall. Serving duck and wine. For a goddess of war, she seems, or the interior is quite elegant. The interior decor is quite elegantly built. There. Alright. continue. How long have you traveled with the escort? Asks Lena. Almost a month now, you say. Your daughter is asleep in your tent, she says. You may spend the night here. This is just factually untrue. A few days on foot. I made sure to send my... Let's see, I'm trying to peruse my brain for synonyms. My swiftest servant, she says, looking at Leech. I find you rather intriguing, Miss Julia. Writing is fun. Vampire. It's living amongst commoners. What about me do you find so alluring? You are the only vampire I have ever seen, she says, clearly disappointed. I'm sure there may be others, but you are the only one I have encountered. That's just inconsistent with the setting. Like, there are undead everywhere. The undead running amok and a new one to sate my bloodlust. Ah, you say, sipping your wine. I haven't even had any humans in months. Except for our husband. Our former husband. I'll just... aside from my ex-husband, that is... You both chuckle. It's not my concern. Let the dead stay dead, says Lena. I'll drink to that. To death, you say, holding up your wine glasses. Lena holds up her own, grinning. She gulps down the wine in one go before holding the glass out for you to fill it again. Ma'am, I'm your guest. Well, a guest for now. Oh, also, I should probably mention, I do have the, story set so, like, it doesn't get too extreme. Like, the AI won't head into, like, R18 territory. So, no worries. I think maybe if I just redact this part. Yeah. What do? This is a bit, like, too casual a setting for me to, like, process. Think, frog. Think, frog. Frog brain activate. Take a bite of the roast duck. The duck is delicious. Well then, that was delightful, you say, licking the plate clean. I have to admit, I'm surprised you're eating with me. You just insulted the duck, you lose 1 point. Close. Licking your fingers clean. Let's go with that. And I'm gonna change this somewhat humbling for this of Gorgon to take interest in me, let alone anything in the world. Let's kind of play into that just a little bit. It's taking, honestly, a little bit slower than I expected. Says Lena, pushing her plate away from her. We're done eating. I have to go for a walk. Is that the only reason? I hope you didn't take offense. Hello, Holy Cat. Scar Sylvie today, Aphrodite, Freya, Hestia. This is the goddess Lena, which she's a goddess of war, and so, like, I think the closest parallel I can think of is Athena. But, like, she's not shy about, you know, like, death and blood and battle and stuff like that. So, like, kind of a little less civilized version of Athena. No, it's fine. I go for walks all the time, and the actions I take don't offend. Okay then, you nod. And the actions I take don't offend. Care if I join you, though? Athena is the goddess of war. I didn't know that. Yeah, it's like I'm kind of taking, like, sort of the layman's interpretation from OSP. Like, Ares is dumb war, whereas Athena is smart war. What's the plot of our myth today? In summary, we are Julia. We are a vampire who was living amongst human commoners in the world of Gorgon, which is just this world where, like, the undead are rampant. And essentially, we're on a quest to smooch a woman, and this woman in question happens to be a goddess. Okay, care if I join you though? Lena smiles. Of course not. I'd love to have your company, she says, leaning back against a tree. Just don't speak. You nod and close your mouth. Oh. Holy Cat, thank you for becoming a lily pal. not and close your mouth. I suppose, like, we're just gonna be walking outside. You stare at her in silence, which lasts for several minutes. How old are you, you ask? I don't know, a long time. You shake your head. She just told us not to speak! I'm gonna edit that. I'm gonna edit that to be so much gayer. She's so beautiful in a crude sense of the word. Your eyes locked onto her pale lips as you both walk. Nope. I gotta remember, like, the enter key, it doesn't always... Right, have you prayed to her or given her an offering? Here's the thing, cute person vibing in silence, me Ganic panic talking immediately. So here's the thing, so Lena here apparently sent one of her servants, this black Goliath creature named Leech, basically to retrieve us personally. And so, like, part of the journey was just him escorting us to her domain, to her castle here. So, seems like offerings and such are not really necessary, I guess. I suppose that's something to keep in mind, though. Suddenly, she puts her index and middle finger to her right eye, making a circular motion. She does the same with her left eye. Do you do that? Which one of us is talking? Help me, narrator. You ask. Okay. She says. What's that supposed to mean? I just thought of something. Oh? I don't know, do you do that? It doesn't seem like an appropriate question. Like immediately after this gesture. I think I'm gonna undo. And then retry. Good answer for a goddess. How old are you, you ask? I'm old enough to know that a longer life isn't always a better one. If you live long enough, the only certainty left is that you'll end up alone, the goddess says. I like that. I like that a lot. Suddenly, she leaps forward towards you. You just barely manage to knock her off when you hear a booming voice from behind you. Take that, you two! Cackles a man. Oh no, is this her brother? Is this the dumb war god? Let me rephrase that a bit. She just barely manages to knock you over. She just barely manages to knock you over. Before a spear flies past the both of you. Then you hear a booming voice from behind you. Take that, you two, cackles a man. I'd like to thank David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, for that quote. Ah, that makes sense. Alright. Man, are we getting... I suppose, like, this counts as getting, in a sense, cock-blocked. You turn to see a tall, thin figure wearing a suit of scale mail. His long white hair is tied up in a top knot. Spooky Sheep! Hello, thank you for the follow. Thank you for becoming a Lily Pal. Stream is really chill vibes, I love it. Oh, thank you! Thank you so much. Turn to see a tall, thin figure wearing a suit of scale mail. Story. This your brother, then? You ask Lena. She nods. I wanted it to be like a little more certain than just using the say command. The very same. I thought I'd lost him. You're a little old to be hanging out with Uncle Bob, aren't you? He's not my uncle. What? What? No, no, no. Try that again, narrator. No. No, you can do better. Good. He's a right moron, so it's easy to control, says the Lich, twirling his spear around. Now, introduce me to the girl. Is he saying that? Is he... I'm so confused. Good. He's a right moron, so it's easy to control. Yeah, he shouldn't be the one saying that. Try again. Try again if at first you don't succeed. Watch out, it's a spooky bee! Oh god! Oh god, get it out! Open the window! Ah! I told you to wait, snarls the Death Knight. I'll make you both dance for me. He runs forward with a shout, swinging his sword down at you both. This I can work with. idea. Put on the mask. Lena yells at you. And open your pack. You don the silver mask and open the pack of what's a good word for it? Insert correct time zone. Let's see. Open the pack of... I guess I'll say sacred weapons. The weapons shudder before flying forth and guarding you. With blade and blunt faces alike. Yeah. Bringing it right back around. Hooray, continuity. You don the silver mask and open the pack of sacred weapons. The weapons shudder before flying forward and guarding you with a blade and blunt faces alike. Fool! Do you take me for your adversary? Laughs the Death Knight. You tell me. You threw a spear at me. I can easily see, like, Lena is, like, pinching the bridge of her nose, like, you see how annoying this guy is? I did. Who the hell are you? My name is Gerald, but you can call me Death. What's wrong, Gerald? Shied away from a little battle? No. No! I am Julia. No. Nuh-uh. Unacceptable. The Death Knight grins and jogs forward. He holds up his arm, revealing a bloody spear in his hand. Ah, so you are a knight of the realm, are you? He asks. No, just a lady your sister has taken a fancy to. Good Godfrey, you fool! Then you're no knight, he laughs, but maybe you're a fine substitute. I'll take you as my lady if you'll have me. Oh, we're gonna be playing that game, huh? Aim the weapons directly at his face. You grab the weapons and aim them at his head. The Death Knight grins. "Feisty," he says, "but it won't save you. You were honorable. You gained 10 points. What?" I mean, fine, but... Oh. This would be kinda gay. But I will, says Lena with a grimace. I love finding ways to keep this consistently gay. She pulls a strange pistol from her satchel and aims it at the Death Knight's head. "Good eye, dear sister," says the Death Knight, "but I'm not here to kill you." I mean... Then what is he here for? Well, I mean, Lena did say he was coming. Like, that was just the assumption, like... He's gonna be... Like, he was invited here for some reason. But, I'm curious to see, like, what the AI, like, where the AI is gonna go with this. Behind him, more Death Knights march forward. Aussie86, thank you for the follow. Thank you for becoming a lily pal. Behind him, more Death Knights march forward. However, they don't attack. They stop 30 feet away from you both and begin staring intently at you both. I don't understand. Anything else? Anything else? What is his intentions? Then they all chant, "Death to life! Mortality must fall!" Their chant grows louder, as do you. Then they charge. You both raise your weapons and meet the charge. Their chant grows louder, as do you. I mean, none of us are mortals, so the first line doesn't detract anything. But, like, I'm not a warrior. I'm a vampire, but I'm not a warrior. What do you do? Someone's I'm good. How's everyone else doing? I'm doing alright. I am quite enjoying this new internet modem that we've gotten installed yesterday. It seems to be doing wonders so far for my connection. You feel as if they're reading your mind. "I'm Death," says the Death Knight. I would have never guessed. Wow, that's like the biggest plot twist in this story so far. I'm gonna retry one more time, just to see if I can't get something better. Then I'll take matters into my own froggy pads. Do you both live in, England? Or I figure like somewhere in Europe. It's only 7:11 p.m. here in America. It's incredibly unnerving. A little bit of power is a terrible thing to waste, says the Death Knight, and my fellows and I could greatly improve your abilities. You'd become a lord among men. I think I'd much rather, like, be Lena's divine consort. I'm gonna say that. I think I'd find much more satisfaction with being Lena's divine consort. England, Wales? England and Wales. The Death Knight snorts. I don't think so, he says. Death is all I need. Now, be a good girl and let's be on our way. Oh, I hate this fucker. Oh. Are you dense? I'm a vampire. There's no life from me, or no life with me to steal. Be a bit blubbery here. I'm not really sure how the weather's been over here. I haven't really paid attention, but I suppose that's just a sign it's been pretty unremarkable. It's warm, it's summer. There's no life with me to steal, so life is overrated, he says. Now come on, let's go. Lena walks forward and looks at the Death Knight. Yes, yes, Lena, come to my rescue, please. Please, my darling. A vampire I may be, but I'm pretty sure this guy is a god, so... She raises an eyebrow and puts a gun to his head. Who the hell are you? She asks. I'm just gonna change that a little bit. Who the hell do you think you are? She asks. Miss Julia is under my domain. You hold no power here. Just fucking tell him off. Oh. For some reason I read blubbery and I thought of blustery, so... Okay, go to sleep now. Good night, everyone. Night-night, spooky sheep. Thank you for stopping by. You're very pretty, he says, but I've been known to break promises. He snaps his fingers, and an arrow of blood and light impales Lena in the stomach. No! Also, saying his own sister is very pretty, that's very creepy, so I'm gonna... That's 2 reasons to press retry. Please let me stay with me for a bit longer. No worries. The Death Knight drops his spear. Lena, he says, let's talk about this. Lena ignores him. Who are you? She asks again. Ooh. Wait. No. No. Something else. I had one idea, but then, like, thinking about it, like, it doesn't really make sense. The Death Knight snarls. Nice try, witch, he says, but you're too late. Miss Julia has made her decision. Now be a good girl and let's go. I hate this man. I want so badly to do harm onto him. But you're too late, Miss Julia has made her decision. I won't go with you. I won't be intimidated by a dull... I gotta think. I want to do like one of those long-winded insults. Nothing stopping you apart from the fact he is your brother. And thank you for the hydrates. One. 2. There's nothing stopping you apart from the fact he is your brother. That is true. I won't be intimidated by a dull, brash, pig-faced, dull-minded, pea-brained, small-sworded, creepy-looking knight. I like small-sworded. Small-sworded. Narcissistic. Slobbering dog like you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's gnash our teeth. bare my vampire fangs. All this trouble just because I want to kiss his sister. What? The Death Knight grabs a little black book and flips through it. He looks up at you. Ah, a vampire with a sense of humor. I like you, he says, winking. Now it's my turn to snap my fingers. Snap my fingers and unleash the flurry of sacred weapons toward him. I mean, technically there's nothing stopping me from kissing her, but it probably won't be a shared kiss. I do want to feel like I've earned it somewhat, you know. The Death Knight snaps his fingers and the barrage of weapons simply flies harmlessly past him. He smiles. Oh, you like me? Well, how about this? He says and snaps his fingers. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm just kind of curious as, like, just to see what will happen. Suddenly, you begin to feel extremely sick and vomit profusely. You fall to the ground and don't stop vomiting. You see, the Death Knight says, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think killing her brother will make her love you more. I'm not even sure if we can, like, definitively kill him. He is... It's fair to assume that since she's a goddess, he is a god too. So, like, this would mainly just, like, be a gesture of, like, hey, back the fuck up. With a playful laugh, the Death Knight dodges your attacks and grabs your wrist, pulling your hand toward him. He grabs hold of your holy symbols and holds them to his chest before kissing them. Might be a demigod. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, let's not. Let's not. The Death Knight laughs as hundreds of wooden stakes come flying out of the little black book and impale you. God damn it! Why can't I win? Like the command of... Like the gift of this mask and these weapons are a gift from Lena herself. They should have some significant power. Yeah, no, I'm not... I don't trust the AI to be able to help me out here. So I'm just gonna... a torrent of... Whoop. Huh? The armies of Harkran have been able to break through the walls of Dragador, and the living have now gotten into the castle. However, a large army of undead were created to defend the castle. The living have fought their way to the top of the castle and defeated the vampires that were scared there. There was no sign of the Lich King, but the Vampire Queen was killed, and dozens of vampires were killed in the fight to take the castle. Oh! So, what are said holy symbols? Wait, if he hurts you, she might feel sorry for you, and it would be a tragic romance kiss. I don't want this to be a tragedy! You were mocked by a death knight, you lose 2 points. Thanks, JudgeBot. I was gonna say, this new world event now actually creates, like, in-world precedents for me to, like, live a life here with Lena. So that way, I have her protection against the living, against mortals. A torrent of steel... No, steel... piles itself around the Death Knight. Blood pouring from his mouth and wounds. He twitches a bit, but smiles. She's acceptable. He says to Lena, the kiss of life, the world info isn't new. Kiss of life, well, no, not necessarily. I mean, they're both, like, gods of death to an extent, so I don't know, like, how much they can really, like, bestow life. That makes sense? I mean, technically alive. I'm a vampire, but... He says to Lena before disappearing into smoke. So my idea here is that this whole time, Death Knight here was kind of testing us. No. Whoop! I'm just gonna bring out my, my, tablets. Looks like I have a fair amount of coffee left, so this should be fine. powers activate! Yeah, so I'm gonna try this again. Thinking, like, the reason that Lena would invite her brother into, you know, like, invite her brother tonight, essentially, like, just to test our resolve to stay with Lena. Like, essentially, he was there to give his blessing, and he wouldn't give his blessing unless, like, we were, like, militaristically capable, or, like, combatively capable, I'll say. Like, you got the right spirit. Lena nods. Let's go home, she says, leading you out of the room into the hallway. We're outside, aren't we? We walked outside. Walking close to your side. I'd say you have his blessing. Okay, anything else? Nice way to make a woman feel wanted. You get the impression Lena wants to be close to you, but she never make a move on you. That's okay, though. This is it! This is it! Here we go! Kiss Lena. Come on, let's go! You kiss Lena, you lean in to give the beautiful vampire a deep and passionate makeout session. The pair of you get into it and just embrace the moment. Close. So close. Alright. I know I put it as a quest to kiss her. How do I mark it as complete? Come on. How do? I guess I'll just erase it. Oh well. You both believe this is the start of a beautifully gay, bloody relationship. And it's a quest, but you didn't have an interactive quest. Yes, I did. Lena begins to walk and you follow. In time, she says, "You could join me, Julia. You have the potential. I'm not a lesbian." What?! That's the most untrue thing we've... That's the most false line that's been written so far. That's the biggest lie. No. Absolutely not. Illegal. Is there a small arrow next to it? Yeah. Yeah, I know I clicked on it before I started playing tonight. Perhaps you're both right, or you're both very, very wrong. You hug her tightly and she hugs you back, putting one hand on your chest. "I'm in love," you whisper. I'm... very, very wrong. But in just the right way. You... I'm just gonna go with sapphically. Yeah, where are you going with this? The alarm bells are sounding. I don't expect the system to be flawless. Kinda comes with the territory. And with that, together, you and Lena rule as divine queens of war and battle. The vampires... Oh! Holy cat! Thank you for the sub! Thank you so much! The vampires of Gorgon may be seeing dark times ahead, but you won't be. With them for the time being. Time will tell what fruits will be born from this union. All that can be said for certain is that it's a shining delight amongst a world of darkness and despair. Oh, wait. I didn't press shift. Oh well. The AI doesn't know what to say. Alter, undo, or try again. You know what? That's for the best. Woo! And I think with that, we can just go the end. The end. Yes! We did it, gang! We smooched a goddess and married a goddess. Woohoo! And they both lived forever, absolutely. Imagine what Julia's daughter, like what kind of upbringing she's gonna have. Alright. Woo, woo, woo! I want to join in on the emotes too. Woo, woo, woo! Let's go, lesbians! Alright. And with that all done, I'll just scroll down here. Whoop, there we go. Alright, we're gonna shift gears because even though I wanted to do this like at the forefront of the stream, it's not the only thing I wanted to do. You know, I just got really frustrated the fact that my internet cut out like just as we were meeting Lena in last stream. So like I had to finish it up. I had to tie up loose ends. But now I'll say we'll probably take a quick break, maybe about 5 or so minutes. And we're gonna switch over to some readings of SCPs. So don't go away if indeed you have the time. See you soon. 5 minutes. Break time. Froggy is back! I slammed down the rest of my coffee, and now I have soda. I have soda, sorta. Wahoo! Alright. So I have... Yay, thank you! Alright. I have the SCP Foundation main page open up. And how we usually do this is just clicking on random SCP, usually, just to see what we get. This time around I'm gonna do what I did for one other stream before, and just kind of peruse SCPs by series, just to see if any of them stand out and catch my eye. So that's what we're gonna be doing this time. Let's go a little bit old school. See like some of the earliest SCPs. If there's anything just that a lot of people don't usually talk about. Let's see. See, R's Pin. Cain and Abel, Old AI, Hand-Drawn Cassie, The Stairwell, The Shy Guy, Red Sea Object. A lot of these that any SCP fan can like name right off the bat. Let's see. 173, the original. Yeah. Medicinal whiskey, flawless X-ray machine, shadow lamps, antimatter parasite, SCP RPG, let's see, World in a Bottle, SCP-035, yeah, I think everybody knows about the mask. Usually I pick out SCPs that are not immediately obvious, like ones that people don't usually see, because there's a lot. There's a fucking lot of SCPs. Oracular Guillotine. Variably useful flu. Hominidae, and suddenly a chair. Ear candles, ew. The Midas Owl. Midas Owl. I like owls, so let's do that one. If it'll just load up. A rating of 235. And also, yes, the Pride logo. Yeah. It's goody good. Okay. SCP-391. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-391 is to be kept in a 5x5 by 5 meter aviary made of heavy steel mesh. Structures mimicking mixed broadleaf deciduous and pine forest should be placed inside the aviary. Artificial lights mimicking normal day and night patterns are to be kept well maintained. Temperature and humidity should be controlled to mimic a humid continental climate. The door to the aviary is to be kept locked at all times when SCP-3 is not being studied, maintained, or fed. Personnel exiting the aviary are to be searched for objects removed from the aviary. Personnel attempting to remove material from the aviary without permission will be reprimanded. Description: SCP-391 is a single female specimen of Tyto alba alba, or common barn owl. Pellets regurgitated by SCP-391 are typically comprised of some form of precious metal. The metal produced seems to vary with the type of prey ingested. The owl, nicknamed Midas, has been documented regurgitating gold, silver, platinum, and other precious metals. Refer to the SCP-391 test logs for more information. SCP-391 was acquired in 2000 blank after Park Ranger blank blank reported finding nuggets of gold resembling owl pellets. The Foundation found the report during a routine information sweep. All owls in a 50-kilometer radius were tranquilized and captured under the guise of a tagging and tracking experiment. Agents examined and released over blank owls before SCP-391 was found. Addendum 391-1. After several examinations by Foundation veterinarians, no anomalies have been found within SCP-391. Other than its unusual ability, SCP-391 is a normal adult member of its species. Addendum 391-2. Due to repeated contact with researchers Dr. Blank and Dr. Blank, SCP-391 has become accustomed to some human contact. However, SCP-391 is still a wild animal and should be treated with caution and respect. Note: Dr. Blank requested permission to breed SCP-391 to see whether the trait would be passed to its young. Request pending approval from the site director. SCP-391 Experiment Log. Note: these experiments were carried out after SCP-391 was kept on a restricted diet of boneless, skinless chicken for a week. Researchers also withheld food for 12 hours prior to testing. Date blank blank 2000 blank. Item: 1 320-gram white rat. Reaction: SCP-391 excitedly killed and ate the rat. Output: 1 63-gram indium pellet. Note: what was remarkable is the size of the pellet. It was the same size as a pellet from a normal owl. There couldn't have been more than 10 grams of indigestible material on the rat, but the pellet weighed the correct weight for a piece of indium of that size. It seems that whatever is facilitating the change in matter doesn't adhere to the law of mass. Date blank blank 2000 blank. Item: 1 320-gram black rat. Reaction: same as the white rat. Output: same as the white rat. Note: SCP-391 was placed in an enclosed system where all mass and energy input was carefully measured and showed a gradual increase in mass about 2 hours after ingestion. No energy or mass change in the system could account for this increase. It seems color is not important to the reaction. The pellet produced, however, can't yet be explained without violating the basic laws of physics. 1 320-gram black rat. Reaction: same as previous tests. Output: same as previous tests. Note: the rat used in the test was radio-labeled, and the digestion process was observed with specialized equipment. The meat of the rat was separated from the fur and bone, and digested as one would expect in a regular owl. The extra mass in the pellet is not coming from the ingested material itself. Huh. This one was actually pretty short. Cool. It's an owl that regurgitates fancy metals. I'm gonna assume SCP-001 When Day Breaks is a very popular one as well. It is. Very, very popular. As well as, like, most of all the SCP-001, what are they called? Like, not suggestions, but, I forget the word. Maybe if I scroll back up. Awaiting declassification. I'm just gonna take a quick peek Proposals. Proposals, that's the word I was thinking of. Which, for those not in the know, like, SCP-001 is actually, like, a myriad of possible anomalies, but, like, for some reason or another, like, it's not outrightly determined, like, which one is the actual SCP-001. Alright, so we left off on 391. Beautiful babies, endless garage, infinite forest, plague tree. I am a toaster. That's a funny one. Patchwork beast. A meeting with myself. Dreamcatcher spider. Never-ending pizza box. That's a really good one. Like, it's exactly as it's described, exactly on what it says on the tin. It's a never-ending pizza box. Why can't this be a thing in the real world? You get any kind of pizza you want at any time you want. All you gotta do is open the box. And there it is. 11-minute snooze, old sun man, SCP-500, Panacea, Mr. Fish. Mr. Fish is silly. The most unhelpful object on Earth. So, like, Hermione's pizza box. I guess, yeah. Word a day. Data expunged. The Dr. Wondertainment ones are always fun to look at. Mr. Brass goes to the machine. Death Predicting Man, that's a fairly well-known one. As well as the Butler's Handbell. 682, the hard-to-destroy reptile. One of the most famous. Hand King's Tragedy. Impossible Colors. The Fanfic Plague. This I gotta see. This we gotta see. The Fanfic Plague. Oh no. With a rating of 538. SCP-732. Or SCP-7 over 9,000! Object class Key Super Elite Keter. SCP-983, a well-known one? I know that one. It's not as popular as, like, some of the previously mentioned. I think it's, like, on the lower end of popular. We could take a look at that one, like, later. Also, it seems as though, for the first time, my internet connection is starting to look spotty again. Some things never change. But the nice thing about looking at SCP articles is that you don't need me here. You don't need me here to read all these articles to you. You can read them yourself if stream goes down. Alright. Special containment procedures. SCP-732 is currently uncontained. You can't! He's invincible! Ever, if containable, let alone contained. SCP-732 should be kept away from all vital records and should be... Subject must be provided with a 1,500-room mansion and a secret lab with which to combat crime and villainy. Compromised records must be destroyed to avoid further contamination of our database. Description: SCP-732 is a force or entity which subject is impossibly witty and charming, shins our records into fanfiction rambling. Subject has psychic powers and can blow people up with the blink of an eye. Bouts are currently unknown. He's with the all-cool SCP. Queries into the nature of SCP-732 have met with little success. Horror! The Eldritch Horror! While there is no certain evidence, it is theorized that the subject likes cult classics of our records have been compromised by SCP-732. Addendum 732-1. A recent breach in SCP... I'm an orphan with no family, but lots of money. Blah! Containment, which should have warranted the simple and safe procedure of data expunged, somehow led to the deployment of Mobile Omega-7. SCP-076 kicked Abel's ass, and now he's my bestest friend ever. Was quite displeased when he found out that the elfin death god he was sent to contained was not a death god of any sort at all. Quite on a day with SCP-105, displeased. For the sake of our remaining budget, it is strongly advised that more effective methods be found for countering SCP-732's corruption. Dr. Blank. That one was even shorter. Guessing SCP-330. Candy Bowl is kind of well known as well. Yeah, kinda. That was silly. That was silliness. I suppose, yeah, we can take a look at the birthday monkey. The director's cut? That sounds interesting. Alright, the rating of 217. That surprises me. I thought it'd be higher. So, SCP-983. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-983 is completely safe so long as technicians handling it do so on any other day than their birthday. Should SCP-983 be presented to or handled by any individual on the yearly anniversary of their birth, they should immediately follow the sing-along guidelines contained in Emergency Kit 135-R, located next to the door to SCP-983's containment chamber. In the event the targeted individual fails to meet sing-along requirements, their remains are to be disposed of through standard methods. In the event the targeted individual meets the sing-along requirements, the following pieces are to be collected: age, color of candy collected, singing accuracy obtained by the best judgment of those present, and the number of verses that passed before acknowledgement by SCP-983. No candy obtained from SCP-983 is to be consumed by any staff without senior staff approved containment procedures in place and written waivers filed and stamped by the consumer. This requirement is waived in the case of Class D candy testing. Description: SCP-983 is a vintage mechanical monkey with a faded date located on the bottom of the left foot, placing its manufacture at some point in the 1940s by an unknown person or company. The monkey is dressed in the remains of what used to be a popular vest design for circus ringmasters. In the monkey's left hand there is a lightly tarnished brass bell. In the right hand, the monkey holds a small brass striking rod. The monkey is capable of emitting speech and sound, although examination of the object has revealed no seams, screws, or openings that would indicate a method of disassembly. SCP-983 is completely harmless and inert under most circumstances and may be handled without special precautions so long as the handler is not experiencing the 24-hour period considered the anniversary of their birth. Once voice crack. Once SCP-983 physically comes into contact with an individual on their birthday, it will spring to life and do a single backflip before raising its bell and singing a simple song. A ring ding ding ding, it's your birthday! The single verse will be followed by the monkey striking its bell, producing a tone that varies in pitch from quite high to rather low. SCP-983's singing was found to vary slightly in pitch as well, but maintained a very excited and happy tone. SCP-983 will sing this song once every 3 to 4 seconds, pausing only to ring its bell until the new owner has died or met the sing-along requirements, which as of yet are not completely understood but are believed to be based in timing the sing-along properly with SCP-983. Each verse sung by SCP-983 appears to age the owner of the item by what is estimated at 1 year. By singing along with SCP-983, the owner may deactivate the monkey, which, once done successfully, results in a triumphant declaration of "Birthday!" from SCP-983, at which time it will ring its bell once and produce a single gumdrop-style candy from the bell. The approach of singing along with SCP-983 has a direct impact on the color of the candy and the side effects of its consumption. Test groups instructed to follow Document 135-R to the letter have verified that a perfect sing-along results in the production of crystal-clear candy with mildly luminescent qualities. A near-perfect sing-along produces the same candy minus the luminescence. Both of these candy types have been verified as restoring any age lost by the consumer due to SCP-983's song. However, the luminescent candy may also grant additional time and youth, though as of yet this theory is unproven due to the low production rate of this candy. Due to the inconsistencies in attitude, tone, behavior, and approach when trying to match SCP-983's song, a wide variety of candies have been produced. In absolutely no circumstances are black candies allowed to be consumed, although other colors may be consumed pending prior approval and containment arrangements. The initial activation of SCP-983 was in a highly uncontrolled environment, so a retelling is the best record available of the incident. Subsequent tests of interest in more controlled environments have been attached to this document, as well as candy effects for those experiments. SCP-983 First Activation. SCP-983 was purchased from a local flea market intended as a gift for a monkey admirer as a joke. The seller of the monkey warned the purchaser that it was to be seen and never touched by anyone on the day of their birth, but was unable to give exact reasons why, stating it was a warning passed to them that was well observed and may have been redacted, legend, or some other bull blank. Upon the birthday of SCP-983's intended new owner, the gift was unwrapped and the monkey handled, at which point it sprang into song. Staff attending the birthday party of their coworker were amused, as was the recipient at first. However, witnesses state the recipient became more and more agitated the longer the monkey sang. After 10 estimated verses, the recipient tried to find a way to turn the device off, to no avail. Attendees state that at this time several persons noted streaks of silver within the recipient's hair. Following an estimated 8 to 10 more verses from SCP-983, the gray was quite pronounced, as were signs of wrinkling or stress on the recipient's face. Within 5 more verses, the recipient returned the monkey to rest and complained of not having the strength to deal with this nonsense, pleading for someone to turn it off. With SCP-983 not being fully realized as a potentially dangerous object, there was panic and sloth in the reactions of the attending staff, which led to SCP-983 being able to complete what can only be estimated at 30 or perhaps 40 more verses before a containment crew could arrive at the party locale. By this point, the recipient had long since expired due to aging, leaving only a skeletal frame remaining in his chair with the skin clinging to it. With confusion on how to approach SCP-983 safely, it was allowed to sing for roughly another minute before it ceased of its own accord, at which point nothing remained of the original recipient other than his purely skeletal remains. SCP-983's final verse consisted of the word "birthday!", which it announced joyously before doing a single backflip and ringing its bell once. From the bell fell a single candy resembling a gumdrop, pure black in color. This candy was never consumed and was described as being moderately entrancing, drawing a person's gaze into it until an outside source distracted them. With a number of individuals at the scene and the general chaos involving the incident, no single person was able to become too focused on the candy and it was safely contained. SCP-983 Controlled Activation Number 32. Birthday was on the 20th of June, so I'm good. Well, happy belated birthday! What happens if you enter the room at the last minute of your birthday? I assume it still works. It still works as intended. Oh boy, I hope I don't get a monkey for my birthday. It's only in 3 days! During test number 32, regarding SCP-983's one test subject, blank blank, volunteered for testing as her birthday had approached and she displayed qualities unique in comparison to previous test subjects. Specifically, an exceptionally upbeat and excited approach to her birthday. Blank is referred to as the subject for the remainder of this test. Without explanation as to what to expect, the subject was given SCP-983 as a wrapped present with the prior warning that this object sings, and it would make for a great birthday video if she were to sing along with it. The subject displayed glee and acceptance of SCP-983 as a suitable gift when it was unwrapped, and required no guidance in singing along with the object as it began. The subject went above and beyond the singing requirements, missing only the first verse to get the words, and picking up immediately at the second, then continuing for a total of 45 verses for a total of 46 completed. During the singing process, the subject displayed the expected aging process with each verse that passed, but displayed no loss of energy or enthusiasm in continuing the songs till their end. The subject remained completely unaware of her body's physical state throughout the experiment. Upon completion of the final verse, SCP-983 announced the finale as expected with stating, "Birthday!" loudly and performing a single backflip, followed by a ringing of its bell. The candy produced from the bell was recorded as being a vibrant white color with vaguely luminescent properties. The subject noted it was the most beautiful confectionery that they had ever seen, and observing staff also noted admiration for the gumdrop. In keeping with the control of the experiment, the subject was allowed to consume the candy. Upon finishing the candy and following a 1-hour period of monitoring, there was no indication that any side effect occurred from consumption. With the experiment about to be declared finished, the subject asked to leave and was excused from the testing area, at which point she exploded with blinding light that damaged the cameras monitoring the experiment, and left all attendees blind for 5 minutes following the burst. Assisting personnel who rushed to the scene described a faint lingering light that remained for at least 2 minutes in the place where the subject stood before it faded out. The subject has not been located since this experiment, and unusually high electromagnetic activity has been noted within the area that was used for testing. Replacement of light fixtures within this area has also risen approximately 70% from the norm throughout other areas of the facility. However, no decrease in lighting has been reported in any area affected by this anomaly. Weird. Experiment about to be declared finished. Huh. I don't remember that part. I guess you could use this to tell how long you live for. Maybe? I don't know. It doesn't seem to be explained. Alright, let's take a look at a different series, a different generation. Let's go with something newer. Series 7. 7? 7, yeah. Yeah, I know that, there was a contest, if there isn't still a contest for SCP-6000, and right now it's listed The Serpent, the Moose, and the Wanderer's Library. Yeah, and some of these pages are access denied because no SCPs for these pages exist yet. People need time to write. But Doctor, I am the Earth God Hepalocally. When elephants still did magic? The Leviathan of the Aegean? Flat Earth? Noah's Ark? Rainbow Serpent? Since this is somewhat like a conclusion, like tied into a conclusion stream for Pride Month, let's take a look at 6004. The amount of verses you sing come to be the amount of years you have left. Maybe. 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 Oh yeah, and some, since this is a newer one, some of the formatting is different. Rating of 172, that's pretty good. Oh, wait a second. Is this one of the entries for the 6000 contest? Oh well. Let's take a look anyway. Level 4, 6000 classified. SCP-6000, object class uncontainable / Tiamat. This is apparently a picture of Hong Kong 12 minutes prior to being destroyed by SCP-6000. And then rock art depicting SCP-6000. Carbon dating places it as being made approximately 60,000 years ago. Into the wild. Special containment procedures. Despite the best efforts of the Foundation, SCP-6000 remains uncontainable until such a time that drastically more powerful containment procedures are made available, or SCP-6000 returns to an inactive state of its own accord. As such, current containment procedures revolve around the preparation for such a time and minimizing collateral damage caused by its current state. SCP-6000 is to be constantly monitored via remaining functional satellite imagery, with satellite arrays to be appropriated from world governments if necessary. Constant reports of its location, direction, speed, and activities are to be provided at all times to better aid global task forces in the evacuation of populations from likely attack sites and impact zones. Due to the volume of casualties, civilians with better chances are prioritized at the discretion of task force members on the ground. Aid shelters and temporary housing are to be provided in rural, remote, and off-the-grid areas, including small towns, Foundation containment sites, and settlements previously attacked by SCP-6000. To avoid drawing the attention of SCP-6000, all Foundation sites are to minimize pollution and carbon emissions as best as possible, with the aim of switching to solar, geothermal, or nuclear power as soon as is feasible. Facts. Research into the most effective anomalous containment measures and weaponry is to be carried out on Foundation and Global Cult Coalition sites globally, with both organizations to collaborate on these projects. Amnestic production has been increased by 230% in order to return the world's unawareness of the veil following SCP-6000's successful containment. Description: SCP-6000 is a massive serpentine entity of variable size, measuring between 0.2 and 1900 kilometers in length, with mass proportional to its length. While its physiology varies from resembling various Australian ophidians, its coloration has consistently been primarily black with dull prismatic stripes running vertically down its length, with a pale underbelly. SCP-6000 possesses a pair of horns and a larger array of teeth, more than what would be expected or biologically possible in non-anomalous ophidians. Horns feature thousands of engraved depictions of wildlife. SCP-6000 is observed to move at abnormally fast speeds, often in excess of 1,200 km per hour on land and 2,800 km per hour underwater. This movement often creates large rifts in the terrain and tsunamis in the water, along with sonic concussions both in and out of the water. SCP-6000 exhibits strength and durability far beyond what its proportions would suggest, having bite force strong enough to crush key units, destroy mountains, and throw itself into the upper troposphere. It is able to fly at this altitude in a fashion similar to swimming. By maintaining consciousness, SCP-6000 is able to alter weather patterns and atmospheric conditions on a global scale at will, primarily by exerting a mild cooling effect on the Earth's average temperature by 2 degrees Celsius. This effect varies in intensity and effect locally, with the most significant changes being intensified snowfall in glacial areas and poles, increased rainfall in arid areas, and severe thunderstorms globally. The most directly threatening use of SCP-6000's ability to control weather conditions is when directly within its line of sight, often in response to outside stimulus or its theoretical emotional state. This most commonly takes the form of severe thunderstorms, hurricane generation, torrential rain, and the generation of extremely large waves. It uses this ability primarily as a form of offense in an area, typically striking cities, mines, and power plants with severe weather events before striking physically. Rain generated in this form has been observed to spontaneously generate plant life within its area of effect. This flora has been observed to grow extremely rapidly and is at times hostile to human life. SCP-6000 possesses several powerful anomalous qualities regarding itself. Thaumaturgical scans have shown that SCP-6000 possesses a form of selective tangibility, which has been observed at times of attack. Footnote: it has been observed that SCP-6000 can cause damage selectively, seemingly choosing which structures are destroyed or left unharmed during a physical assault. It often uses this ability when swallowing organic materials, primarily animals, while avoiding swallowing earth or buildings. SCP-6000 is known to consume living human persons when besieging populated areas, and is often observed regurgitating various fauna local to the immediate area. It is assumed that it transfigures humans into these animals. See Addendum 6003. Addendum 6000-1. Discovery and early investigation into SCP-6000. A statement from Site Director Alan Tibbles. It's hard to believe that SCP-169 area is between 2,000 to 8,000 kilometers, considering the Earth is 6,371 kilometers in radius. I know. Well, it works mainly because, you know, the Earth is a spheroid, you know, so it's a matter of circumference and not so much of, like, diameter or radius. But yeah, Leviathan big. Prior to the discovery of SCP-6000 in the March of 2020, there was much discussion within the Foundation regarding how much humanitarian aid to provide towards fighting the 2019 to 2020 Australian bushfires. We of course knew they were not our problem to deal with, being the result of non-anomalous climate change and poor government action, but it is human nature to want to help one another, and in the case of those at Australian sites, our homelands. Still, despite my own feelings towards the matter, we at Site 40 were spread too thin to offer any more than nominal support to firefighters and rescue groups, particularly with the growing concern that we had towards the unusual seismic activity being felt around the Australian continent. We knew it was anomalous. Emails and communications were sent back and forth discussing what to do. Ultimately, survey teams were dispatched to find their source, but due to the fires, these efforts were less than successful. We decided to wait until things calmed down before trying again. We all know now what a mistake that was. The lesson to be learned here is simple. We need to stop working around the poor decisions made by the non-anomalous world and act more directly. Had we done that, we wouldn't be in the mess we now find ourselves. Truth. Oh, and there's more in this tab. Discovery of SCP-6000. Circumference of the Earth is 40,775 kilometers. Yeah, that's what I thought. Beginning in 1988, unusual seismic activity began to be detected throughout mainland Australia, and in particular around the eastern coast of New South Wales. Initially, this was not believed to be anomalous and was ignored. However, over the following years, this seismic activity grew in intensity and frequency, until finally in 2019 it was decided that investigators would be dispatched from Site 40 to investigate. Investigations showed that the source of this seismic activity was located within Wollemi National Park, an area comprised of 501,703 hectares of wilderness located between the Blue Mountains. Investigations were halted before more precise measurements could be taken by the 2019-2020 bushfire season, when intense wildfires affected the area in question, and it was decided that investigation would resume upon the fires being put under control. While waiting for conditions to improve, drastically more intense seismic activity was detected from within the area, culminating on the... Okay. Precise dates tend to, mess me up when it comes to SCP articles. I think it's written... My understanding is it's usually written day, month, year, but sometimes it was written as month, day, year. So, I'm gonna go on the assumption that this is the 10th of February, 2020. When firefighter Mark Delaney was reported to have disobeyed orders while attempting the rescue of a panicked civilian who had fled into dangerous terrain within Wollemi National Park. The subsequent events led to SCP-6000 emerging from a subterranean cavern and departing the area. Foundation investigation into this event uncovered the remains of Mr. Delaney pinned beneath a large granite boulder located in close proximity to the ruined entrance to a large subterranean cabin, surrounded by evidence of rock slides and an emergence event. The examination of Mr. Delaney's remains revealed a portable video camera that was worn on his helmet, and captured the events following his attempted rescue of the as yet unknown civilian leading up to the emergence of SCP-6000. A transcript of the recovered footage follows. Footage begins showing Mark Delaney, among other firefighters, standing among several parked fire trucks. Firefighters can be seen attempting to suppress intense fire fronts from high-pressure hoses, and visibility is very poor due to smoke and reflected light from intense flames. Mr. Delaney is requesting support from another firefighter and retrieving a ladder from a fire truck, when an unidentified woman is seen running towards the flames. "Stay right there!" The woman appears unable to hear Mr. Delaney and is in a highly panicked state. She continues into the woodland at speed, with Mr. Delaney giving chase. Another firefighter can faintly be heard calling for him to stop. "Jamie! Jamie, come back! Oi, no, it's too hot!" Camera's view is largely obscured by smoke and embers as Mr. Delaney enters the woodland. The path appears wide, but is surrounded by intense flames. All that can be heard is the roar of the flames. Mr. Delaney continues to chase after the woman, occasionally swearing. The camera jolts violently for 8 seconds, causing Mr. Delaney to fall. He returns to his feet and resumes running. "Fuck me, it's getting worse. Shit! Lady, come back!" Mr. Delaney occasionally loses sight of the woman, running for an additional 83 seconds before entering a clearing on the edge of a ravine. Past the ravine, a mass of flaming wilderness can be seen. The unidentified woman can be seen cowering at the edge of the ravine. "Come here!" Mr. Delaney approaches the woman, grabbing her and examining her. She appears hysterical and unresponsive to Mr. Delaney's questioning. Fucking hell. Okay, okay. And this, for reference, is the beginning of the video file, in case you couldn't read the subtitle. Mr. Delaney lifts the woman out of the frame, presumably into a fireman's carry. The camera swings over the edge of a ravine, showing a large reptilian mass partially exposed by a fissure in the ground. Fuck me. The reptilian mass shifts, with the movement seemingly causing another earth tremor. Mr. Delaney stumbles, hanging onto the ground. A jutting ledge on the opposite side of the ravine splits from the surrounding earth, with several flaming trees falling onto the scaled mass. The mass flinches away from the burning vegetation, and much more severe tremors begin. An extremely loud roaring sound can be heard, cutting out the audio for the remainder of the footage. The scaled mass retreats beneath the earth. The camera looks toward the sky, showing several lightning flashes through the smoke and rain beginning to fall. Camera shake presumed to be the result of the earth tremors worsens as the ravine returns to view. A much larger mass emerges from the earth, resulting in the upheaval of a significant quantity of stone and earth. Frame-by-frame analysis shows that the mass is the head of SCP-6000, on fire and visibly roaring. Mr. Delaney and the unidentified woman are thrown back, with the camera pointed to the sky. SCP-6000 can be seen rising into the air before disappearing in the smoke. Torrential rain begins to fall into frame and flames recede. End log. Nuts. Following the emergence of SCP-6000, severe thunderstorms rapidly formed over bushfire-affected areas in Australia, effectively dousing them by... So I was right, it was in February. Yes! While the Foundation began to track SCP-6000, investigation revealed that areas affected by these thunderstorms began to exhibit anomalously rapid plant growth. Additionally, both Foundation and mundane weather monitoring organizations detected a reversing of global warming trends. And that is the whole of this addendum. Addendum 6002, Early Behavior. Initially, SCP-6000 remained airborne within these thunderstorms, which progressively expanded in area and began appearing further and further from the location of its origin point. Foundation monitors quickly realized that the anomalous rains formed by SCP-6000 were mainly forming above areas affected by desertification and deforestation. During the initial phase of SCP-6000 remaining within Australian borders, these storms covered thousands of square kilometers of farmland, forests, residential areas, and cities. This was accompanied by large-scale destruction of property and large trees displaced structures. Multiple Foundation sites were mobilized to aid in the search, rescue, and relocation efforts in aid of those affected by the event, with Global Occult Coalition forces offering support. Meanwhile, multiple unsuccessful efforts were made by the Foundation to neutralize SCP-6000, which had been determined to be the logical cause of these events. These attempts were typically met with violence from SCP-6000, often in the form of lightning strikes or bites. It was during one of these failed attempts that SCP-6000 was first observed to attack a human settlement. On the 27th of March 2020, SCP-6000 directly attacked the city of Canberra. At 10:47 a.m., intense thunderstorms formed over the city, with wind speeds measuring over 140 kilometers per hour. This was promptly followed by SCP-6000 descending from the cloud canopy and making landfall, having attained an unknown size and mass. It proceeded to strike and bite the ground across the city, swallowing a great measure of infrastructure as well as the city's inhabitants. Notably, SCP-6000 targeted Parliament House in particular, flinging most of the building and its occupants into the air with extreme force, with some debris and individuals later being seen orbiting Earth. Holy crap! Holy shnikey is. Including Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and State Premier Gladys Berejiklian? This attack prompted a response from multiple Foundation mobile task forces, including both Eta-5 Jaeger bombers and Tau-5 Samsara. Ooh! I'm familiar with Tau-5. Tau 5 is kind of a big deal in terms of, like, Mobile Task Force lore. But by time of arrival, SCP-6000 had departed and 74% of Canberra had been destroyed, with 197,728 persons missing. No dead found, and survivors were subjected to mass amnesticization, with the cover story of an asteroid impact. Despite renewed efforts from both the Foundation and the GOC to neutralize, redirect, or otherwise contain SCP-6000, it continued to attack human settlements, largely targeting cities, mines, areas of intense pollution, and coal-fired power plants. Each of these attacks resulted in the majority of the population of a given area being consumed by SCP-6000, with surviving CCTV footage showing SCP-6000 to be simultaneously tangible and intangible, as it visibly phased through structures believed to have been deliberately left intact by the entity. Following these attacks, SCP-6000 has always been observed to travel to remote locations and regurgitate consumed materials. Ensuing investigation into these sightings showed drastically increased wildlife populations in areas where SCP-6000 was seen to vomit, as well as increased fertility in the soil. Due to the scale of the damage caused by SCP-6000, survivors began to be housed in safer areas of locations previously attacked by SCP-6000. Temporary power sources became necessary on a large scale due to the disruption of power grids, with many turning to solar power. During resettlement, many survivors and Foundation staff reported a large increase in the populations of native wildlife, which did not interfere in resettlement efforts. In late February, the Foundation, the Global Occult Coalition, Marshall Carter and Dark Limited, and a major sect of the Church of the Broken God came to a truce, so as to determine a method of control and containment of SCP-6000. A think tank was organized involving various experts from across the aforementioned organizations to try and establish a working theory of the nature of 6000. Each group independently presented noteworthy similarities between SCP-6000 and Australian Aboriginal Dreamtime stories of the Rainbow Serpent. Research into all available folklore and consultation with relevant unaffiliated persons was initiated with a goal to find a ritual or other avenue of interference that could be used in the containment of the entity. Parallel with the think tank, the Foundation and Global Occult Coalition began expedited development of experimental weaponry, designed with assumptions that SCP-6000 shared metaphysical similarities with Data Redacted. This project came to be known as Project Mongoose. And then we finally have Addendum 6003 with 2 different tabs. Discoveries of SCP-6000 attack after effects. Following the destruction of Sydney, an investigatory unit operating out of Site-40 were deployed to the area in an attempt to gather any information possible about SCP-6000 and its effect on areas attacked by it. As this was the first major city to be destroyed by SCP-6000, it was hoped that some significant information would be discovered. At 3:21 a.m., Survey Team 40 arrived in northern Sydney and were instructed to head for Rushcutters Bay via the center, as the destruction was particularly intense in the former region. Survey Team 40 was instructed to document and mark the locations of any notable anomalies that had resulted from SCP-6000's attack, as well as mark survivors' locations with flares for Foundation rescue teams. The following is a video log taken from Captain John Vercoe's body camera of the resulting events, with irrelevant sections removed for brevity's sake. Exploration video log transcript. I'm gonna call it a night as it's now 20 to 3 in the morning. I wish you a very good night. Night, Holy Cat! Thanks for tuning in and hope you have a restful night. Date. This would be April 7th, 2020. Exploration Team, Survey Team 20, Subjects SCP-6000, Team Lead Captain John Vercoe, Team Members Sergeant Brendan Harlow, Corporal Erwin Perosis, and Corporal Eve Barahona. Begin log. Camera's view shows that Survey Team 40 is traveling on foot through Sydney City Centre. Much of the surrounding structures are severely damaged by emerging plant life, particularly large eucalyptus trees, along with signs of massive impact events. There is steady rain and occasional flashes of lightning. Corporal Porosis can be seen in the lead, using a chainsaw to remove fallen timbers from their path. Corporal Barahona stands guard nearby, with her weapon aimed at the tree canopy above them. The rest of the team is currently off camera. Verco. We are removing debris from our path and should be within the area of interest shortly. Shortly, Command. Corporal Porosis saws through a fallen beam, causing most of the debris to slide away. That'll do it. Good work. Keep going, team. Remember, eyes open. Watch the trees for movement and stay away from anything obviously unstable. Yes, Captain. Affirmative. The team continues south via the road, often climbing over roots and through vegetation. See all those koalas, boss? Karma swivels upward, showing 8 koalas, Phascolarctos cinereus, within the treetops looking down at the team. I'm wondering if I should try, like, my attempt at an Australian accent. Oh boy, coin flip. I'll try. If I do try, like, I'll try my best. Let's see. If it's heads, I do it. Oh, it's tails. It's tails. The coin says no fun tonight. Maybe some other time. Well, they definitely weren't living here before. Cute, though. Marking it. Command, we have a large number of koalas here. Couldn't have been here before. Marking the location now. Affirmative. This is consistent with other attack locations. Continue your investigation. Affirmative. Move out, guys. Survey team continues along the route, frequently seeing wildlife. Animals seen universally avoid the team, with the exception of multiple snakes which raise their heads and watch the team pass. I don't like that. Do we have anti-venom ready, Captain? A dose for each of us. Just stamp your feet as you walk and they'll leave us alone. I swear, I keep seeing something big in the trees. Where? Point it out. Movement! Camera swivels to the direction indicated by Porosis. A large mass can be seen moving behind some vegetation. The team trained their weapons on it, with Porosis taking cover by a car close to the vegetation. Command, unidentified creature has been spotted. Going to attempt to flush it out. Be careful. Barahona, toss that stone behind the bushes, see if it runs out. Barahona can be seen nodding, reaching to grab a fragment of concrete, looking to Captain Verco before throwing the stone. There is a dull thud and a deep grunting sound from the bushes as the creature moves towards the team. Shit, I hit it! Into cover, now! Barahona can be seen ducking into cover by a puddle of rubble. And the camera begins to jolt in time with the sounds of the creature's footsteps. Vegetation is increasingly disturbed as it approaches. Fuck, it sounds huge. Calm yourself, here it comes. A large brown-furred quadruped measuring approximately 2 meters tall emerges from the bushes, snorting and grunting. It stops upon reaching the clearing where the survey team is and looks around at its surroundings. Is that a giant wombat? Command, identification? Do we know what this is? Nothing in our databases. This isn't a known anomaly. Evans here says it looks like reconstructions of a Diprotodon, an extinct giant wombat. What the fuck? The Diprotodon begins to snort and throw its head in the air, aggressively pawing at the ground, approaching Sergeant Harlow. Harlow aims his weapon at it and begins backing away while the animal continues to approach him. Fuck off! Get back, fucker! Harlow, slowly back away. Stop shouting. Barahona, get the trauma kit ready, just in case. Harlow begins to back away from the Diprotodon, which in turn stops before roaring at him. Sergeant Harlow flinches but returns to cover. Movement can be seen in the treetops above him, but is not noticed by the team. After a moment, the Diprotodon snorts and begins eating grass before returning to the bushes. Everyone alright? I guess. I think the Sarge needs new pants. Fuck off. Fine. Enough. We need to keep moving. I don't want to be here if 6,000 comes back. So it's making extinct animals too, not just koalas. Looks that way. Team continues towards Rushcutter's Bay, eventually reaching the edge of a large crater formed by SCP-6000 striking at the Earth. Trees and vines can be seen growing visibly larger within the crater, and kangaroos are foraging among the area. Fuck me, how big must that snake be to do this? It varies. Eggheads at 40 say it changes between about 400 meters to over 1,000 k's long. Jesus. Command, we're gonna need to detour around this crater. Roger. Be advised we have detected movement in the trees and buildings above you. Be careful. Fuck. Dipper wombats? Diprotodon. Who cares? Whatever. Quiet. Acknowledged, Command. Team, eyes up high. Survey Team 40 continues along the lip of the crater before coming to a ruined apartment block overhanging the edge. A group of large kangaroos, approximately 2.5 meters tall, are grazing beside it, looking over at the team. Hold up. Go around them. Don't want to piss them off if we don't have to. They're huge. Evans has identified those as Procoptodon goliath, an extinct short-faced kangaroo. Given their size, I would recommend caution. Thanks. You heard her, team. Steer clear. The team moves to circle around the animals when Corporal Perosis is seen to swing his weapon and light towards the apartment building. A moderately large animal can be seen emerging from a hole in the wall, with his eyes reflecting the light into the camera. Fucking lion or something! Watch it. Take cover. Weapons ready. Team takes cover and aims weapons towards the animal. It is a brown color with white stripes, a robust muscular build, and a large mouth with large teeth. It slowly climbs down the side of the building, towards the Procoptodons, which have turned to face the team. Am I the only one who thinks that looks like that thing up in Canada? Apparently a reference to SCP-4715. Oh shit. Team, Evans here. That's a marsupial lion, Thylacoleo carnifex. Powerful predator. Looks like it's hunting the kangaroos. Assuming it works like normal predators, don't bother and it should leave you alone. Assuming. Team, be ready to fire on the lion. Way ahead of you. Okay, got it. The Thylacoleo carnifex drops from the building onto the back of a Procoptodon, grabbing it and biting it around the neck. The other Procoptodons scatter rapidly, fleeing into the trees. The two animals struggle before the Thylacoleo subdues the Procoptodon, removing the head and beginning to drag the carcass back up the side of the apartment block. Two smaller Thylacoleos can be seen at the edge of the hole where the larger instance emerged from, vocalizing loudly. Holy shit! Fuck me! Easy, guys, easy. Harlow, cover me while I recover the head. Yes, Captain. Rocco approaches the severed Procoptodon head with the camera repeatedly swiveling to see where the Thylacoleo went. Verco picks up the head and goes to place it in a containment pouch. Hold on, is that a tattoo? What? Verco turns the head over and examines it. The words "Live, Laugh, Love" can be seen tattooed on the brow ridge of the Procoptodon, along with a stylized human skull on the right side of the face. Holy shit. End log. Afterward, following review of the footage, these tattoos were matched to those of John Baring, a tattoo artist whose body was not recovered following SCP-6000's attack on Sydney. It is now believed that all animals emerging in the wake of SCP-6000 attacks are people that have been transfigured into wildlife within SCP-6000 before being regurgitated. Wicked. And... oh. You are viewing the early history of SCP-6000. For further developments, see here. I guess I just clicked that. How long is it? Oh, this is a bit longer. I think I'm gonna skip it. It's really cool, though. I like this entry. It seems like a little bit standard as far as anomalies on the website go. You know, it's just like a big anomalous beast creature. But I think it's cool. I know immediately on the mentions of like manipulating weather patterns and weather conditions, like that immediately made me think of Rayquaza. you know, Rayquaza not exactly a rainbow serpent, but it's like similar enough role. It also makes plenty of sense that an entry, like one of the entries for SCP-6000, would have something to do with climate change, considering the theme is nature. Alright, which series do I want to venture into next? Let's go Series 3. I believe this would be the 2000s. Okay, oh yeah, the Primordial Worm. We read that one a few streams ago. An interdimensional Mexican standoff? Okay. Dracula Factory? Oh, I've seen a video on that one. If you see something, say something. Bird phone, think different? What? Broadcasting live from out of time. A dream's nightmare. The Temple of Luna Primogenita. That's tempting. That's tempting. I like anything that revolves around the moon. The Demon Lahir and the Valley of Lust? Ooh. The Bear with a Heart of Patchwork. We also took a look at that one. Scrave Crow? Dr. Spanko? What are some of these names? Pink Ladies. Pink Ladies. Let's take a look at Pink Ladies. The rating of 35. This one seems to fly a bit under the radar. SCP-2386. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2386 are to be kept in Site-32 in sealed enclosure. Any increases and changes in the hive's shape and pattern are to be reported to the head researcher. Instances of SCP-2386 found in the wild are to be dealt with by MTF Lambda-7 Swarm Queens. Male personnel are not allowed on site except for testing purposes. Description: SCP-2386 is a species of diminutive humanoid entities. All instances vaguely resemble simplistic humanoid dolls made of fabric, commonly ranging between 7 cm and 9 cm in height. Instances of SCP-2386 also have identical recurring patterns on their torsos, most prominently pink in coloration and a face which appears to be stitched on. Autopsies on dead instances reveal similarities to both Dermatopia hominis, a human botfly, and Bombyx mori, a silkworm. The wings are similar to those of a butterfly or moth and are capable of flight. Studies have shown SCP-2386's exoskeleton is composed of a durable material which is almost identical to cotton fiber. Wild instances of SCP-2386 are found to live in hives resembling similarly patterned seat cushions. the largest known instance being in the shape of a sofa. Hives of SCP-2386 are commonly found near suburban environments, sometimes even within occupied housing. SCP-2386 will emerge periodically from these structures to feed, usually other smaller insects, and seek out hosts for reproductive purposes. Despite their benign appearance, SCP-2386 are hostile if approached by males of any species. SCP-2386 will engage their target by extending scissor-like claws from their hands and swarming the target. Conversely, females in the presence of SCP-2386 will be respected and occasionally cared for, presenting them with small gifts and playing with them. During the spring and summer seasons, SCP-2386 will enter their mating season and cease hostilities against males and treat them in a similar manner to females. Males approached by SCP-2386 during this period will be treated better than females. After acclimatizing to SCP-2386, a single instance will cut an incision into the male subject and attach between 30 to 65 eggs under the skin. Within 24 hours, the affected area will be covered in a material resembling patterned cloth. Tests reveal this material is biological and genetically identical to material recovered from SCP-2386 hives. As the weeks during gestation and birth progress, this growth will spread outwards from the initial sting. Eventually, the growth will be split open from within, with adult forms of SCP-2386 emerging fully formed. The following interview is with D-2386-181, male subject used in testing, currently 3 weeks into SCP-2386's gestation period. Interviewer, Dr. Blank Shaw, and interviewee, D-2386-181. Good morning, D-2386-181. Yeah, hi Doc. You say you've been having recurring dreams? Ever since I got this thing, indicates affected area on right arm. It wasn't that bad at first. Please explain. Okay, so I'm in my bunk, right? And it's exactly the same as it is when I'm awake. Same lights, same walls, whatever, and there's giant versions of those things you got in there. Giant? They're like as big as you or me, and not, bug-sized. So they're surrounding my bunk and I can't move. You mean sleep paralysis? I don't know, maybe? But I can't move, and they're like stood over me staring with that sewn-on smile of theirs. And I can hear these voices, not like coming from them, but they're there, and they're telling me what a good job I'm doing and stuff like that. I see. Actually, last night they did something different. Another one came in. Another? It had something with it. It looked like a baby one. I beg your pardon? It was all wrapped up in this white cloth. They said something about wanting to show me what I was working towards. They pulled back the cloth over its head, and it was a fucking bug's head. Woke me right the fuck up. Thank you, D-2386-181. That will be all for today. Hey, Doc, could you send someone to look at this? I think something's moving under there. Ooh. Following D-2386-181's interview, surgery was carried out on the infected area. Results showed that premature instances of SCP-2386 matched the description given. Instances labeled SCP-2386-1 and cataloged for later study. After surgery, D-2386-181 insisted on visiting SCP-2386's enclosure again. D-2386-181 became violent upon being denied access. After being subdued and returned to quarters, D-2386-181 displayed depression-like symptoms and made references to SCP-2386-1 as being lost. Addendum. As of blank-19-blank, the remains of an SCP-2386 hive dating back to 12-blank were discovered in an abandoned barn in blank. Unlike current SCP-2386 hives, the hive recovered resembled a solid wicker basket. While most SCP-2386 within the hive had deteriorated, several intact ones revealed these instances had an exoskeleton similar in shape and texture to wheat, and a similar humanoid shape resembling corn dollies. Similarly, as of blank blank 2000 blank, MTF Lambda 7 encountered a hive of SCP-2386, unlike the contained specimens. These instances had an exoskeleton resembling blank dolls and appeared to be constructed from a material resembling plastic. A portion of the hive has been taken for study, as have several instances of this new breed. Pink lady bug dolls. So that was that. I always just wonder. I always just low-key wonder. Like when different SCPs have like different effects or different behaviors depending on the interactors' genders. Like, how much does that apply to trans folk? And like, how much are they talking specifically about sex and instead of gender, you know? I wonder sometimes. Hum 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 hum. Hum 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 hum. Hum 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 hum. This definitely does not help Bernie Sanders. The Sealed King! Did we take a look at that one? I don't quite remember if we looked at this one on stream or not. I don't remember. I'll have to check my VODs. Because I don't remember if I read this or not. How to Train Your Axolotl. I'm so tired of fake friends, drama, liars being ignored and getting hurt. Slay Dragon, Save City. Parasitic mayonnaise worms? What? Oh, 2521, that's a really good one. That one's kind of popular. Actually, let's take a look at it. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about 2521. With a rating of 4,588, it's very good. Yeah. The way this SCP's powers work, like, you have to resort entirely on, like, visuals and pictograms in order to, like, actually explain, what it is or what it does. So, like, here we can see, like, this is literally, like, SCP number 2 dots, 5 dots, 2 dots, 1 dot, 2521, 2521. It's clearly a Keter class. This is a picture. Container procedures. Yeah, so I assume this represents information, and like you can't write about it, you can't type anything about it, you can't even speak anything that describes it, any writing or files or such that describe the entity at all. You know, things happen, bad things, but you can safely explain it through pictures. And then, what is this explaining exactly? Does it... Is it explaining how, like, no more than 4 personnel or D-class are allowed to interact? And then 05. Oh, no, I understand. So like levels 0 through 3 are restricted access. You need to be like authorization level 4 or, you know, one of the 05 council. Yeah. And so information or description, we can see, you know, it's sticky, it has tendril sort of fingers, it can walk through matter, through solid matter, it's able to comprehend like writing and speech, but it gets confused, or like it can't comprehend like visual symbols and symbolism. And so, yeah, these are like testing experiments. Experiment A, you have a D class, you know, like they're told like, hey, describe the SCP with writing. So they write that down. SCP appears and takes the page away. D-class is very upset. Experiment B, D-class told to describe verbally, and then he's taken away. And then I'm assuming like any written files like also apply. Like this one is freaking genius. It's so clever, it's so unique. But yeah, like the SCP's main motivation is just that it loves anything that has any involvement with itself. So it's kind of vain in that sense. You know, so it probably has a collection of documents that are describing it, as well as a collection of bodies, considering. Yeah. It's very cool. It's very cool. It deserves this rating. Is there anything in Series 3 that can catch our attention? Alison Eckhart. Alison Eckhart. This machine kills fascists? That's tempting. That's tempting. Oh, not good enough. I know about this one. I'll just say there's a video on it. There's an animated video on $25.99. That one is kind of depressing. Like a sweetheart space beacon? Cthulhu, fuck off! Anti-capitalist POS system. The Eldritch Antarctic. Slow burn sloth. Bodhisattva of the High Seas. I remember that one. It's a meme, you dip. I gotta pick something. Gotta pick something. There's so many possibilities. Titania's Prison. I know I took a look at this one off stream, but maybe I should take a more dedicated look. Alright, update to the formatting. I see. Alright. Rating of 451. SCP-2932. Object Class Thaumiel. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2932 is currently contained at its location of discovery. Mobile Task Force She-9, the Wardens, have been tasked with handling containment efforts, including reduction of public awareness of SCP-2932 in nearby towns and villages, and amnestic treatment of individuals who come into contact with SCP-2932. A fence perimeter has also been established around SCP-2932 with warnings posted about a protected nature reserve within. This perimeter is to be routinely patrolled. MTF something 9. Oh, She-9. At least I assume it's the same MTF. MTF She-9 have also been given orders to work alongside SCP-2932-A in an effort to contain of SCP-2932-1 that have escaped from SCP-2932. Information gathered from SCP-2932-A regarding possible Euclid and Keter-class entities originating from within SCP-2932 is listed later in this document. MTF She-9 personnel, as well as additional Foundation staff members assigned to SCP-2932, are to familiarize themselves with this information. Efforts are ongoing to attempt repairs of SCP-2932-2, although due to the complexity of the object and the nature of its design, personnel must maintain care in their duties as to not upset the already fragile state of SCP-2932-2. Foundation staff medical doctors that have been trained in the function of SCP-2932-2 are to rotate on a 6-hour shift, to assure that a doctor is always available in the event of an emergency. Information regarding this object gathered from SCP-2932-A is detailed later in this document. Should SCP-2932-2 experience a gross failure, experimental power supply systems are to be activated in an attempt to maintain the current function of SCP-2932. Should these supplies prove inadequate, MTF She-9 and additional security personnel are to prepare for a massive breach of containment scenario. Note: personnel are reminded not to attempt authorization from any genetic matching organisms, as this often results in retaliation from the guard organisms. Description: SCP-2932 is a massive organic structure located within the Reserva Comunal Asira in eastern central Peru. Externally, SCP-2932 consists of trees, vines, and other plant life that has been formed into a large domed structure. Lighting around the exterior of SCP-2932 consists of an array of bioluminescent bulbs that grow within SCP-2932. These are a species that, until discovery of SCP-2932, was not identified, along with many other instances of plant life that exists throughout SCP-2932. The dome structure itself is indestructible, and attempts to damage the dome often result in retaliation by aggressive and hostile mobile plant-based organisms that act as guards to SCP-2932. The main door to SCP-2932, located on the south side of the structure, cannot be opened without authorization from an entity located within SCP-2932, or without authorization from a genetic matching organism that exists near the entrance. The main level interior of SCP-2932 consists of a number of arched hallways and large rooms, equally organic in nature as the exterior of SCP-2932, with similar mechanisms throughout. Investigation of these areas has indicated that at one point the rooms were administrative offices for the lower portions of SCP-2932, and signs of habitation exist in a number of larger areas. Information has been gathered from this section regarding instances of SCP-2932-1 and has been filed with information gathered from SCP-2932-A. The lower levels of SCP-2932 are below ground and consist primarily of a massive open chamber with numerous catwalk structures leading to various landings throughout. Most of the available wall space is covered in cocoon-like pods composed of an extremely durable plant matter, which increase in size lower in the chamber. The apparent use of these pods are to contain instances of SCP-2932-1. To the right of every pod is a device composed of various plant matters, with a touch-based screen composed of a translucent silica construct that acts as an interface for the pod with which it is attached. Information regarding the SCP-2932-1 entity contained within the pod is listed, as well as a mechanism by which to open and close the pod, although this option is locked out to individuals without the proper genetic identification. While the overwhelming majority of these pods are intact and listed as active, at least blank have been ruptured. SCP-2932-A is an elderly Class 1 near-humanoid entity that resides within SCP-2932 and acts as its caretaker. SCP-2932-A has 6 primary appendages and walks upright on the rear 2. SCP-2932-A's torso has 2 primary segments, both covered in a fine long hair. The head of SCP-2932-A is roughly ovuloid with 2 sets of eyes, one compound and one vertebratic. The front of the head contains a humanoid mouth and a long prehensile nasal structure. The top of SCP-2932-A's head contains a number of small spines, but is mostly covered in additional long gray fine hair. On its back, SCP-2932-A has 4 large insectoid wings, although these display damage that did not properly heal. SCP-2932-2 is a large vascular organ suspended in the center of SCP-2932's main chamber, and serves as the primary power source for SCP-2932. SCP-2932-2 pulsates at a pace of approximately 8 beats per minute, although this has been known to drop to as low as 3 beats per minute during emergency events. According to SCP-2932-A, SCP-2932-2 is the heart of the goddess Titania, who can prison with her own body and put her heart within it to sustain it. Given information gathered from SCP-2932-A, it has been deduced that SCP-2932 was once and currently is a massive incarceration system designed to contain a large number of creatures and other entities. Due to a catastrophic event affecting the original owners of SCP-2932, see Document Alpha 1596-1000 for more information, the site was closed and the responsibility of containment was left to a skeleton crew of SCP-2932 staff members, of whom SCP-2932-A was the warden. Over time, this contingent of personnel either perished, defected, or disappeared, and the facility began to fall into disrepair. This, coupled with the increasing fragility of SCP-2932's main power supply, SCP-2932-2 caused a number of containment pods to malfunction, releasing their contents. Interview 2932-A. The following interview was conducted during early exploration of SCP-2932, shortly after Foundation personnel were allowed into the structure by SCP-2932-A. Initial communication with SCP-2932-A was hampered by a language barrier, as SCP-2932-A was capable of speaking only its own language and Quechua. Once a translator became available, the interview was conducted. Access document. It is August 14th, 1985. Interviewer, Dr. Z. Johnson. Apparently there's a tail linked to their name. Interviewee, SCP-2932-A, and translator, Dr. F. Amaru. Begin log. Thank you for meeting with me, SCP-2932-A. I have a number of questions for you, if that's alright. It is, please. Can we have your name for the record? My name? My name. Caspin is my name. Who constructed this place? My people were the builders of Titania's prison. The children of the night came to us and, knowing us as a people of fine craftsmanship, commissioned the prison to be built. Why did they want to build a prison? Those were different times, friend. The children of the night were powerful, yes, and influential, very, but in their dominance of the world, they too had collected enemies, greater and more terrible than any that exist now. The children of the night prayed to glorious Titania, and she gave unto them her heart, which we then used to craft her prison. What happened that caused the disrepair we have observed throughout SCP-2932? Do not be so coy, child of the sun. You know very well what the cause of this was. Certainly you have not forgotten so easily. I see. SCP-2932-A, some of the pods throughout SCP-2932 have been damaged. What do you know about the entities contained within them? They were nothing. Raindrops before a greater storm. As the heart began to fail, it became imperative that more power be diverted to the truly great enemies of the children of the night. Because of this, some of the lesser escaped. Those that I could, I destroyed. Others became victims to Titania's guardians. Few escaped. Truly great enemies? Yes. Like I said, there are many creatures that haunted even the children of the night, and the greatest of those, the ones that could not be killed, were brought here. The goddess has been gracious, and has not given them their freedom. Should the heart fail, though... You children of the sun are strong, yes, but you are not the children of the night. You would be nothing more to them than sand before the tide. End log. Addendum 2932-1-1. The following logs have been gathered from terminals regarding potentially dangerous SCP-2932-1 entities, most of which are in active containment. Notes gathered from SCP-2932-A are also listed, and SCP-2932-A has provided full translations for all of the entries. Prisoner name, Ophelia. Incarceration, active. Date of incarceration, 9 Moon, 17 Cycle, 4533 rotation. Sentence, endless rotation. SCP-2932-A notes. Yes, Ophelia was a dangerous one. She lived within this forest, and hunted for the children when the night came. She was not as you are, or as the children were. I do not know from whence she came, but it was a place that abhors the pleasing form. She was disgusting and beautiful, and she murdered the youngest son of the Lord of the Night, and put his body into a puppet to lure the Lord's wife into the darkness. By glorious Titania, she will rot within that cell until the stars go out. Prisoner name, Jan Kumur. Incarceration active, date of incarceration, 1 moon 20 cycle, 4620 rotation. Sentence, endless rotation. Notes. Kumur was a creature of the heavens, fallen from the skies. The children believed that he was one of their dark gods, but soon found that he was only a beast, and a hungry beast. Thousands he devoured before the children brought him down, and even as he was brought here, he threatened to devour us as well. They called Jan Kumur the Ravenous One. I wonder sometimes about how his hunger has grown. Name, Malva Carta Moore. Incarceration, inactive. Date of incarceration, 2 moon 19 cycle, 2711 rotation. Sentence, endless rotation. Notes. Hang on. Oof. That was a rough one. Notes. Some creatures brought into Titania's arms were lauded and their captors praised, but Malva Carta Moore was brought in secret. Even I did not know of its incarceration until after it was done, but the children assured me it was for the best that I was kept unaware. I remember when Malva Carta Moore escaped, though, and the children had not lied to me then. Sometimes it is best not to know. Prisoner name, Adam LSM. Adam LSM. Incarceration, inactive. Date of incarceration, 7 moon 3 cycle, 4301 rotation. Sentence, endless rotation. Notes, this one was a child of the sun, but the children of the sun abhorred him as much as the children of the night. Adam LSM could will things into existence with a glance, could move mountains and dry riverbeds by touching them. Something great and terrible lived within his mind, and the children wasted no time lashing him to the stone and giving him to Titania. There were others like him, dangerous children of the sun from the east, but they are not here. There is a cell reserved here for the one with desolation in his steps, and one for the other. I do not expect to fill them. Additional note, on April 7, 2015, the entryway to this cell collapsed and fell inward, an event later attributed to the gradual decay of the entire facility. The interior of the cell was found to be empty. When questioned about this, SCP-2932-A refused to admit that the cell was empty, and also refused to go look at the cell to confirm. While SCP-2932-A did not appear to have any predilections against the area around the cell, the entity now refuses to even approach it. The only substantive information gathered from SCP-2932-A regarding the empty cell is a comment made after questioning whether or not SCP-2932-A knows what any of the entities contained within SCP-2932 actually are, wherein the entity replied, "I know what I was told. The dread has no reason to lie." Prisoner name, Faye. Incarceration, active. 1 moon, 1 cycle, 10 rotation. Sentence, endless rotation. Notes. Do you believe that the children of the sun were the first to overthrow those who came before them? So, Faye here links to SCP-4000, Taboo, which I believe I read the last time I did SCP readings. It makes sense, you know, the connection between the Fae and Titania's prison, either or. I suppose, in a sense, like, all the nameless creatures in Taboo are kind of in a prison of their own. They can't leave. Alright, let's see, how does my mouth and throat feel? What's this? Oh. I think... I think I might be good for one more, but this time, let's just click random. I don't want to sift through more of the lists, I don't feel like it. SCP-2580. This one seems relatively short. SCP-2580 with a rating of 87. Not too shabby. Object class was Euclid, but is now safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-2580 is to be stored in small object storage at Site-19. SCP-2580 is to be submerged in a sealed container filled with water, which is to be checked weekly for leaks. Document 2580-A is to be stored in the Site-19 physical archives. Physical access to SCP-2580 or Document 2580-A must be approved by a Level 3 researcher. Digital copies of Document 2580-A are to be made available to all Level 2580-1 researchers via Foundation servers. Description: SCP-2580 is a blank brand 3-fin model rocket measuring 31 centimeters, constructed of balsa wood and plastic. Its body has been spray painted white and the fins red, blue, and white. Assembly kits are for models similar to SCP-2580 were in distribution between the years of 1965 to 1998 in the irregular sun exposure prior to containment, and irregular sun exposure prior to containment. The wood, alternatively, has demonstrated a near-complete resistance to heat, chemical, and water damage. Internal scans have shown that, when dry, SCP-2580 will either produce or receive a combination of carbon, sulfur, and potassium nitrate, similar to common black powder. The rate at which this occurs varies between ignitions, although rates of blank milligrams per second have been occasionally observed. Once SCP-2580 has filled, its fuel will spontaneously ignite, burning for a duration of roughly 12 seconds and, if not physically prevented, propelling itself forward. And then a couple of addendums here. The following is the item description used for SCP-2580 prior to its retrieval by Foundation personnel. Description: SCP-2580 is an unknown object currently situated in medium Earth orbit and has been observed at lengths of roughly 79,600 and 110,800 meters from Earth. It measures approximately 20 to 35 centimeters in length and appears to possess an oblong shape. Due to its size and distance, the object cannot yet be identified and has been observed by its occasional ignition and release of some chemical propellant. SCP-2580's means of storing or producing this propellant is unknown, as observed consumption under Foundation observation have been estimated at between blank and blank total kilograms. Periods during which SCP-2580 has not ignited have varied randomly. However, duration of the ignition has remained relatively constant, roughly 12 seconds. It will most often ignite when positioned away from the sun. However, it is unknown whether this is by some purpose or by random chance. And then we have a retrieval log. SCP-2580 had been under Foundation observation since 1965, or since November 29th, 1965, during which time it gradually increased its orbit around Earth. Contact with SCP-2580 was made at 2150 UTC+0 on July 24, 2011 by a Foundation Low-Mass Orbital Retrieval and Reentry Unit, unit number LMR-105. Over the following 12 years, the object's orbit was gradually decreased by manipulating its rotation and manually igniting at specific orbital intervals. LMR-105 landed at 1512 UTC plus O on April 29th, 2023, with minimal damage to SCP-2580. SCP-2580 was promptly transported to Site-19 for study and containment. During disassembly of SCP-2580, Foundation personnel discovered a ruled piece of paper designated Document 2580-A. Printed was a simple drawing of two people, one man and one young girl, standing forward near a building at night. The man holds what appears to be SCP-2580 in his right hand, while the girl stands with her left hand raised. The drawing appears to have been made using colored markers and has suffered minor bleaching. The opposite side contains a rough diagram of the solar system, including the Sun, the 8 planets, dwarf planet Pluto, and one shape crossed out, presumably a first attempt at drawing the Sun. Earth has 2 arrows pointing towards it. I see. It's shown there. Cute. That's cute. Yeah. It's a self-igniting rocket. It's not all that anomalous, not all that dangerous, assuming, like, you keep your hands away from, what are they called? Not the engine, but, like the propulsion jet, I guess? So yeah. I think that'll be all the SCPs for tonight. I know I really wanted to get SCPs out of my system because I've been craving them lately. Yeah! Woo! I'm so happy we kissed a goddess, y'all! Mission success. Mission critical success, because we also married the goddess. Woo-hoo! Yahoo! Yeah, that's gay. We thrive on the gay. Alright. So, yeah, I know I do have plans with my family regarding my birthday. I can't remember which day it actually is, though, if it's actually on the 4th or if it's like a day or so before or after. I'll have to ask about it, but I mean, I'm thinking I might be able to stream on the 5th, because it's a Monday, and I usually stream on Mondays. So, yeah. Happy birthday to Froggy! The next time you see me, I am going to be 1 year older. Officially. And we'll see what comes of that stream. Again, I mainly have just ideas, and I can't bring myself to think of, like, which one I actually want to stick with. Or, like, if I'm doing multiple ideas, like, which order to do it in. Thank you, Chroma. Also, hi, Chroma. You came in at just the tail end. You finished up SCPs. Big baby, thank you, wifey. Mwah! Alright. Oh, you've been lurking. That's fair. That's fair. Sometimes I, like, forget. Like, people will lurk. But anyhow, that's all I've got for tonight. The battery in my phone is almost dead, but let's try and find something to read. Nice to listen to. Oh, thank you. Hug. I'm feeling like raiding someone we haven't raided before yet. Let's raid... Ooh! Let's raid Bree. I'm quickly just gonna... Right now she's currently playing Getting Over It. Ooh. There's a lot of viewers. She's gotten so popular. I'm so proud of her. To the stream, thanks for coming! So raid. Here we go! Alright. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Thank you all for coming, my lily pals. I love you so much. I hope that I can figure all my stuff out for a birthday stream. We'll see what I can make of it. But until then, oh yeah, Swimmy!